A very good morning to you and welcome to day one of the GovTech conference taking place at the Durban ICC here in the KwaZulu-Natal province. This is where we've already seen just delegates starting to arrive here at the center of some of those talks that we'll see happening in the coming 3 days. It's just around issues of technology and getting the best out of the ICT space where government and the private sector is concerned. Hosted, of course, by the State Information Technology Agency, SITA, that is hosting us for the coming 3 days. This joined by the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, and this is where we'll be seeing Minister Mondli Gungubele just later on take to the podium here today to give a keynote address. But I thought it's prudent that we start it off with the SITA. The chairperson here is Mr. Kiruben Pillay, who joins us now on the SABC this morning, just to give us a sense of what we can expect in the coming 3 days, positioned as really an important conversation around the issues of technology as we take stock as South Africa and the continent. Sir, welcome to the SABC.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you and your listeners. I think what's ahead of us is a whole host of technology. But at the same time, it's not about technology. It's about the contribution of technology to our society. How does it change? How do 60 million people benefit from that? How do we digitize the state? How do we bring in more efficiencies? And basically create a better world. So if you assume that technology is a magic wand, it's a question of welcome to Hogwarts. So how do we play that out to our benefit as a society?
I mean, here we're talking about an agency that was set up in 1999, and we're seeing it just weather the storms and try by all means to move in terms of the fourth industrial revolution that we've seen the globe and South Africa forming part of. We're talking about now the fifth industrial revolution, that space where the globe is just moving into. Where are we? How are we faring as South Africa in terms of this agency's role since its establishment in 1999?
Okay, I think there's been a significant amount of technology change that's been happening. New tools becoming available, artificial intelligence, cloud technologies, and all of that have got to be leveraged. Now, what the government of South Africa has done, especially over the last 10 years, is there have been significant strategy positions taken. Significant work done in terms of unifying strategy, fourth industrial revolution, the e-gov strategy. And what we're trying to do is say, strategy is now done. It's now about implementation. So SITA's challenge, together with the rest of the industry, is to find ways of coupling that technology such that it makes a meaningful reality in our lives.
Let's talk about that e-governance space. We know very well that when SITA was set up in 1999, mainly it was to consolidate efforts by government to ensure that there's a rollout of, service delivery without any hindrances. The socio-economic challenges really rife as we speak right now. And over the years, we've seen government move out of SITA to go and outsource and find business from the private sector. But SITA now positioning itself to just ensure that they are the go-to where government services, the ICT role within the government departments, one after the other, is concerned. How are we faring, and why did we see the government move away and just outsource when it could be really getting these services from SITA?
I think SITA started focusing to a large extent on procurement, on unifying procurement, unifying government spend, trying to extract economies of scale. As it did that, it also needs to, I think it lost focus to an extent in terms of its delivery component to the public, in terms of government efficiency. So we're picking up those particular banners and focusing SITA on those dimensions. To give an example, one of the things that's been done is SITA has created 120 e-services. What we now need to do is push utilization of that up, have it surface on a mobility basis, and at the end of the day, prove that operator component. So service delivery cannot stop. And I think it's a competitive environment. So it's not that only one party should perform a service, it's about participating in a greater ecosystem. So SITA is one of many, and we're coupling together the communications people in terms of bandwidth components, on the compute side, interfacing with cloud components, and basically leveraging off our apps. So that is the future road forward, which is mainly focused on implementation, not strategy anymore.
What can we expect in the coming 3 days, just briefly before we let you go?
I think in the coming 3 days, we should see quite a lot of discussion about technology and how technology can couple to reality and change our lives. That's what I'm hoping to see out of the next 3 days. So I think it's going to be interesting to hear what the rest of industry has to say as well.
An interesting one, Mr. Kiruben Pillay. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time. He's the chairperson of SITA. They are our host here, and we'll be seeing the Minister Mondli Gungubele, at just after 9 o'clock, taken to the podium to give an address here. And also the host is the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Government. We'll also be seeing the Premier here, Nomusa Dube, who also just gave us an opening address here. But I must say, there's already a hive of activity on the ground. There are exhibitors in their large numbers, big businesses, small businesses, most of them just positioning themselves to get the best out of the private and public partnership that will come through the SITA and government with some of those role players that are here today. So let's take a break. When we come back, Morning Live continues.